there.
Good afternoon. I'm Acting Fire Chief Ken Clark. Today we're going to have a little summary of a tabletop exercise we conducted from 0800 this morning till just before noontime, and was a drill that had participation by the police department, fire department, the schools, and some agencies from the town hall, with outside evaluators from Mass DEP, Westboro Fire, and also MEMA and Framingham Police, our Deputy Chief.
We had about 50 people attend the training and tabletop exercise today. It consisted of members of the fire department, the police department, the school department, members of various town boards, including the DPW, the Conservation Commission, the Board of Health, Human Resources. A member of the Board of Selectmen attended. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, but around 50 people participated today in one facet or another. We had both people that were active players in the drill, and we had people that were observers that were giving us feedback as to the aspects of the drill.
This is a tabletop exercise, and a tabletop exercise is really an opportunity for people who will be involved in response to an incident to listen to a scenario and to then verbally describe the actions that they take in response to that scenario. And what it does is it tests our agency's ability to work well with each other. It tests emergency plans that we have in place. It tests communications plans, and what we're hoping to do is discover weaknesses around a table instead of out on the street. And I think today was overwhelming success in that regard. The scenario that Chief Clark, Lieutenant Flannery, Jason Webster, and Edward Tannen put together really tested every department in town in one way or another, and they, in my opinion, excelled in their responses and in the way that they came to those responses. This was part of our School Safety Council and emergency planning for the schools. So the scenario involved, school lockdowns and school evacuations and hazardous material spills, and it was very complicated. Involved a lot of potential for missteps, and it was really intended to prepare our people for eventually the next level of testing our plans, which will be an actual kind of emergency drill out in the field, where we not only come up with a scenario, but we physically move people or lock them down or evacuate. So great step, great work on the part of the people who planned it. Participation was excellent, and couldn't be happier. The School Safety Council is a group of school administrators, town department representatives. They get together on a regular basis, usually about monthly during the course of the school year, to review school emergency plans, to test those plans, to deal with any incidents that have come up school district-wide from the standpoint of any aspect of safety. I mean, we have school principals, we have school nurses, we have the school district doctor, we have representatives from clergy and counseling, police, fire, health department, who am I forgetting? The school resource officer participates. So it really, you may have seen or heard about the school's crisis response manual. Yeah. That was a product of the School Safety Council and is a document that is reviewed and updated by the School Safety Council.
One of the many things, and it was brought up a couple of times today, is the planning that we do for the marathon prepares us to do the Emergency Operations Center or testing it of drill exercises, so that we're prepared that way. And a lot of towns don't have the opportunity to do that. And also the ongoing drills that we have with the School Safety Council better prepares us to run a tabletop exercise.
I think some of the things we learned from that incident regarding timing is often a huge issue, is when something happens is something we're always considering now. The time something happens, where people may be that you need to be able to contain is one of the things that was discussed today at the tabletop exercise, and some allusion to the rooftop incident was made. Some of the issues that were raised during that were, again raised today as to, how we would deal with those and how we thought we could deal with them better based upon the lessons learned from that. In the case of that incident, that happened during release time, so it created extra issues for us as far as being able to, instead of being able to have people already in places, they were already leaving the building. So containing them was difficult at that time.
I think every time we have one of these incidents, and we've had some significant events in town that required emergency response and public safety response and public safety coordination. Every one of them we learn something from. I think when we've, whether it's a search that we've undertaken, or a hazardous material event like the tanker on the turnpike, or the house break suspect that was loose on the east side of town that created a school lock-in and delayed release. Every one of them has their lessons that we take away from it, and I think every one of those has made us better at this, and tabletop exercises like this are just hope to make us even better.
I think one of the more important points I thought that was raised today by one of the evaluators in one of the instant feedbacks is, I think one of the things that makes us successful is we are able to communicate well with all the other town agencies. I think that showed itself today as well, and they actually made note of it, how well that they thought the various groups that were here represented from the town worked together in working out some of the issues that were raised during the exercise.
I mean, we have chiefs associations and who have meetings, and there's training that goes on as part of those, and it's not unusual to kind of debrief an incident and share experiences with peers to see what lessons can be learned. So that has been done. I don't recall a formal, can we come and do a training based on this incident or that incident.
One of the things that I think of is the improved interoperability capability that we have. The agencies, whether it be the school and the police, the fire and the town hall, those agencies, when a need arises, now everyone is on a first-name basis, has been for a long time. And I think that's important when you get on the scene of an emergency, is everyone's able to take their strengths and put them to use for the good against that particular incident. And right now, we've taken that to a new level for our town, and it's just a foundation which to build off for future training and other types of exercises.
I think something that I came away with was that is almost a weakness of our strength, and that is that when we start having other agencies respond to help us, we work so closely with each other and each other's agencies and departments that we inherently know our roles and fall into them quite naturally. When we have outside agencies coming in to assist, that might not be so obvious to them who's in charge of what aspect of the incident and who should they look to for direction. So I think something that I came away with was when we start to involve outside help to make sure that our roles are clearly defined, as clearly defined in their eyes as it is in our eyes.